The Witch of Blackbird Pond, Chapter 12, Part 2. What sort of books? Kit asked in some surprise. Oh, most any sort. We pick them up in odd places. I like the old log books best, and accounts of voyages, but once a man left us some plays from England that were good reading. There was one about a shipwreck on an island in the Indies. Kit bounced up off the grass in excitement. You mean The Tempest? I can't remember. Have you read that one? It was our favorite. Kit hugged her knees in delight. Grandfather was sure Shakespeare must have visited Barbados. I suspect he liked to think of himself as Prospero. And you were the daughter, I suppose? What was her name? Miranda, but I wasn't much like her. Nate laughed. That Shakespeare should have gone on with the story. He didn't tell what happened when that young prince took her back with him to England. I bet she gave the ladies plenty to talk about. It wasn't England, it was Naples. And that's another thing, Nate, she remembered. All this talk against England and the king, I don't understand it. No, I suppose you couldn't, not being brought up here. Why are they so disloyal to King James? There are two sides to loyalty, Kit, said Nate, looking suddenly almost as serious as John Holbrook or William. If the king respects our rights and keeps his word to us, then he will retain our loyalty. But if he revokes the laws he has made and comes about till the ship is on her beam ends, then finally we will be forced to cut the hawser. But that is treason. What is treason, Kit? A man is loyal to the place he loves. For me, the Dolphin, there is my country. My father would give his life for the right to sail her when and where he pleases, and so would I. Anyway, 'twould do little good with a gale blowing to wait for orders from His Majesty in England. I suppose it's like that for these people in Wethersfield. How can a king on a throne in England know what is best for them? A man's first loyalty is to the soil he stands on. So I'm thinking as a reader, I need to go back and look at my notes that I took on Puritans and Quakers and think back to when we talked about King James and King Charles and all the issues with being loyal to England or wanting to separate. And I wonder what side Nate is coming down on now that I've read that, about him saying that a man's first loyalty is to the soil he stands on. Gives us a little bit more information about why there's even an issue to begin with. That would please Uncle Matthew anyway, Kit thought, bewildered and a little dismayed to glimpse under Nate's nonchalant surface a flash of the same passion that made life in the Wood household so uncomfortable. Nate was a New Englander, too. Had she forgotten? She was almost relieved to hear Hannah's voice at the foot of the ladder. Has thee finished the thatching yet? 'Tis high time thee had a bite of supper. Supper? Kit had not even noticed the slanting sun. Is it as late as that? Nate's hand on her wrist detained her as she scrambled toward the ladder. You will come often to see her, won't you? He reminded her. Of course, Kit hesitated. I worry about her sometimes, she whispered. She seems so smart and spry, and then the next moment she seems to forget. She talks as though her husband were still alive. Oh, that. Nate dismissed her fears with a single word. Hannah's in good trim, right enough, but her mind wanders now and then. Don't let it bother you. I have an idea Hannah is a lot older than we think, and she's lived through a lot. She and her husband starved in jail for months in Massachusetts. Finally, they were branded and tied to a cart's tail and flogged across the boundary. From what I hear, Thomas Tupper was a sort of hero. If he still seems close enough to Hannah so she can talk to him after all these years, you wouldn't take that away from her, would you? As usual, Hannah did not urge her to stay. My company always has to hurry off, she chuckled. Nate always in a hurry, and thee, and now Prudence. Who's Prudence? Pulling on his blue cotton shirt, Nate fell into step beside her along the path to the south meadow. You remember the little girl with the doll? Hurrying along the path, Kit told him about the reading lessons. She expected that when they reached South Road, Nate would turn back, but to her consternation, he strode along beside her, and even when she hesitated at Broad Street, he did not take the hint. The happy mood of the afternoon was rapidly dissolving in apprehension. Why on earth had Nate persisted in coming too? There would be enough explanation without a strange seaman to account for, but Nate easily matched her nervous pace with his swinging stride, apparently quite unaware of her desire to be rid of him. And again, as a reader, I'm just going to stop and think for a second, why does it bother Kit so much for Nate to walk her home? What is it that she thinks is going to happen? And I also wonder, why is Nate walking her home? There they all were, sitting outside near the doorstep. Then supper must be over. As they drew near, William rose heavily to his feet and stood waiting. Kit, where in the world have you been? Judith spoke up. William has been waiting for ever so long. Kit looked from one to the other, from her aunt's barely restrained tears to her uncle's waiting judgment. There's nothing I can possibly tell them, she thought, except the truth. I've been helping to thatch Hannah Tupper's roof, she said. I'm sorry that I didn't realize how late it was. Aunt Rachel, this is Nathaniel Eaton, Captain Eaton's son from the Dolphin. He was mending Hannah's roof and I helped him. The family allowed Nate scanty nods of acknowledgement, but William did not alter a muscle of his tight, clenched jaw. The two young men measured each other for a long moment. Nate turned to Matthew Wood. I was at fault, sir, he said, with a dignity Kit would never have given him credit for. I shouldn't have accepted her help, but 'tis a tricky job, and when she came along, I was greatly obliged to her. I trust that none of you have been inconvenienced. He looked back at William, one eyebrow tilted at an old, familiar angle. Kidd stood helpless as he took his leave and strode lightly away. He had done his best, but the reckoning was still to come. Why should you take it upon yourself to mend a roof for the Quaker woman? Demanded her uncle. She lives all alone, Kit began. She is a heretic, and she refuses to attend meeting. She has no claim on your charity. But someone ought to help her, Uncle Matthew. If she wants help, let her repent her sin. You are never to go to that place again, Catherine. I forbid it. Morosely, Kit followed the family into the house. Don't mind too much, Kit, Mercy whispered. Hannah will be all right if she has that seaman to help her. I liked his looks.